Listen, I've never had any problem expressing my opinions, but what we're doing here is bigger than that. These are conversations that need to be had in an unfiltered way. Drag racing's all I've ever done. It's all I care to do. I respect the history, I appreciate how far we've come, but I want more for this sport, and I'll fight for it. It's uncut, it's unfiltered, this is the show of shows. The biggest names in drag racing. No holds barred. This is the great American motorsport, drag racing. Prove me wrong, I'll wait. Hey gang, Wes Buck here, Drag Illustrated Magazine, checking in. It is Wednesday, August 26, 2008. Tons of stuff going on in the drag racing world right now. We appreciate you joining us while we break down all the latest and greatest happenings. What are you guys laughing about in the green room?
You said 2008.
Oh, I said 2008?
Yeah, we went way back.
Okay. We went way. Why did
I kind of wish it was 08. It was
why did I read the time. It was 2:08. I read the time. I read the time. I look and I'm like, okay, why is everybody laughing in the green room? Is there something I'm missing? And now apparently I know. I guess we might as well not wait any longer. What's going on, Mike? I had a little monologue prepared and the whole bit, and then yeah. I threw myself off by reading the time instead of the
that
day.
Had me. I was doing all right, but Blake was just. He was busting out in the green room. I couldn't hold it anymore. Sorry. So I'm always like, if I'm reading, I'm on this like monologue and I screw up, I don't want anybody stopping me. Right? Tell me later.
Yeah,
we'll do a review later, and you can tell me I screwed up.
I have this routine, right? Of I just look up at the corner of my screen on my MacBook, and I'm like, Wednesday, August 26, 2010.
I know, and you've always nailed it, and I've always been like, man, he's really good at that, because I would 100% screw that up.
Well, I think that might be a first.
You've joined the ranks of us mere mortals, so welcome.
Yeah, well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, we've got PDRA coming up this weekend, fresh off the NHRA Brainerd Nationals. I always love talking about NHRA's annual pilgrimage to Brainerd. We got Scott Taylor in the house today.
I gotta
go.
I'm
excited to talk to Scott. You've got to go to Brainerd.
I used to not care about it too much, but I get like everybody's just raving about this event, and I've never been. For Brian Loans, this big post, like it was his favorite race he's ever been to or something. And I mean, it's given me major FOMO.
Bro, the zoo at Brainerd and just the overall thing, like you're up there in a part of the country that it's like very touristy and small and quaint. So there's like, it's kind of spread out and no major hotels, no big, it's just, I don't know. It feels like you've traveled into the wilderness to go to this drag racing event, and the people are cool. The fans are super passionate. It's funny. Like, do you remember this when you were growing up racing with your dad? Like, we always had tracks that we looked forward to going to, especially because of the fans. Like, I remember we used to always race a lot at US 36 Raceway in Osborne, Missouri. And the fans were just, like, they were hardcore. Like, these weren't people that were just hanging out, checking out something to do on a Saturday night. Like, they would show up and they would be talking about clutch discs and talking about gear ratios and asking us specific questions. And the same, Wentzville, Missouri was a lot like that. I remember going to South Dakota, and the fans were like super dialed in on what exactly was going on. Because, I mean, I think drag racing fans by and large are hardcore, right? Like, that kind of goes assumed. Without saying.
It's
right?
Basically assumed when you walk through the gates. But yeah, man, I don't know. It was probably a different experience for me. Maybe we were more like exhibition focused, or like we were, everyone was kind of knew the deal already of what we were doing. So it wasn't maybe as much hardcore gearhead talk, but there were more passionate fans than others. Like Farmington Dragway was always a great one. Like the small, the honky tonks, as you like to say. You could go back and watch a bunch of races on drag racing media of the past. I'm giving my guy Devin a shout out again. Go watch some of the Quick 8 videos from Farmington from the 2000s, and you can hear the roar of the crowd after every run. Like they go through the traps, chutes come out, scoreboards on, and you can hear the crowd like cheering, booing, screaming, whatever it is. And
it makes such a difference.
Like that seems rare to me now. Like we talk about Matty Gordon getting that big pop at what was it, at the Gator Nationals?
At the Gator
right?
Nationals, sorry, the season.
Yeah, and I mean that's rare now. I think we're more. Are we jaded, or is everyone just too cool to get excited, or the venues are so big and maybe the audio on the TV broadcast doesn't?
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I think you may have hit something there, because that whole jaded conversation, I have that conversation a lot. Like we get so desensitized to like how badass what this all represents is. And I don't know. I mean, I do think it's interesting that it's interesting to me that the NHRA, like that we can identify pops, that there are like certain people that have the crowd in the palm of their hands. And that's a rare air in our sport. But it does seem like as a whole, fanfare, like we've got to find a way to get this group of people like a little more excited, because I feel that way sometimes, like even at our races, like World Series of Pro Mod, when I try to do my get the crowd going or get everybody to turn on their cell phone flashlights, I feel like there's this little bit of like, I'm too cool to acknowledge I'm a fan. We've talked about this a little bit, but there's a whole, if you're driving, like going to Walmart, right? And this happens to me, like, I feel like relatively frequently, you'll see somebody wearing a drag racing t-shirt and I'll be like, hey man, you a fan of the sport or whatever. And they can't say that they're fans. They have to immediately tell you this story about they used to crew on a Top Alcohol funny car in 1989. Like nobody wants to acknowledge that they're a fan. And it's something our sport, I feel like, struggles with. Like it's so participant driven that I don't know, like, how do you change that? How do you make it fashionable? Like, it's okay just to stuff, because stick and ball, nobody seems to be bashful. Like, if you see somebody wearing a Dallas Mavericks basketball jersey in and around DFW, they don't tell you that they were like a coach in a little basketball. It's just a different thing. Like, it's more
like we idolize them differently or something. Yeah. Or we know. I know I couldn't play in the NBA or play in the NFL, right? So then you become like you have a lot of admiration for somebody that's able to reach that level. I think in drag racing, we tell ourselves, shit, if I had the money, I could do that. I could jump in that car. Man, that was a good run by whoever in that pro mod. But if I had his luck and money or whatever, I could do that. And I think we get caught up in telling ourselves that a little bit too much. And then also it's like, man, that's my guy. That was a good run, but was it a good run? And am I going to get clowned for maybe over cheering or being overexcited about it? Was it like the record setting run? Am I a centrifugal fan or a screw blower fan? And I'm going to get clowned by the other group. There's so many like little subgroups that, you're afraid, like how many people have your back when you go to a NFL game, half the stadium or more is on your side. And if there's no delineation, and I feel like there's all these little subgroups that if you get too excited about, I don't know, anybody, Randy Weatherford making a great pass, I'm like, well, there's all these other detractors that are going to say something as to why you shouldn't be cheering for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting, because it's like, what do we do to increase? Because I feel like drag racing is making some progress, but we're like not there yet, obviously. But I just saw a comment and I like, well, everybody in the comments, if you are happy to acknowledge that you're a fan of drag racing, say that you're a fan. Like, I'm a fan, and I literally I interviewed Aaron Stanfield and Erica Enders. Was it last week? Yeah, last weekend, or Thursday or Friday of last week. I had a interview with those two, and I was talking to Aaron just about his Top Fuel experience. There's a cool story on dragillustrated.com that we published this morning that was basically Erica and Aaron Stanfield recounting their experience in, getting their Top Fuel, kind of getting their feet wet in Top Fuel drag racing. And it was so cool to just hear them talk about that experience, because I think you're right. Like, drag racing if you're watching it from afar, everybody kind of thinks like, oh, I could do it. You know, put me in that thing. I'll stab the gas and steer in a straight line. But when you talk to Erica Enders, who's a 6-time Pro Stock World Champion, you talk to Aaron Stanfield, who's fresh off winning the World Series of Pro Mod, the most competitive drag race on the planet Earth. It's like these two telling you how much of a surreal experience it was and how far behind the car they are. Erica told me that she feels like she's 50 or 60 runs away from being comfortable in a Top Fuel dragster. And that's someone who's driven everything, done very well, had a tremendous amount of success, like certainly no stranger to the driver's seat of a race car. And she straps into this thing and is like, it gets your attention, like way more so. And that's,
I don't think you see that from drivers as much. I mean, we heard Tony Stewart talk about that when he got in the Top Fuel car. And here you have like two of the greatest driving talents in drag racing right now. And they're not afraid to tell you how intimidating that Top Fuel car was in making that move. But you go to ask some fan, they're like, you know,
strap me in it.
Shoot, she can't drive nothing, man. You know, there's just like that's kind of the attitude I'm talking about. Like within the sport and within the, you know, the drivers that have done it and respect it, that's pretty common to hear. And you'll hear guys readily open up about that. But then, you know, if you ask a fan, it's like, oh, Austin Proc's never done anything, you know, or whatever. It's like, it's a weird situation.
I think I like to acknowledge, and I don't think it gets acknowledged enough, just the courage it takes.
Yeah.
Like for me, I think that is perpetually understated, and it's not lost on me that, you know, you don't see people too fairly often jump into drag racing, especially Top Fuel, Funny Car, Pro Stock, Pro Mod, you know, from other motorsports. But it feels like they'll do anything else, but they're not going to drive one of these things. And I don't think it takes courage,
even at the lower levels, man. If you've never staged up a car, if you've never done a burnout in a car that will do a legitimate burnout, a rolling burnout, that's an experience to start with. Then staging up a car, and then one where you put the pedal, you know, mat the gas and let go of a clutch or a trans brake and either start shifting or it's, you know, shifting for you. If you've never done that, I don't mean drag racing your V6 Mustang or whatever. Right. I mean, I'm talking about a legitimate race
with all the processes and procedures.
Correct. Then you don't know the courage it takes to even just keep the gas pedal down, keep the throttle to the floor. I went to Frank Hawley's, sadly, 20 years ago now. And that was the number one thing that everyone did their first time. The very first time they'd ever driven a car. I didn't do it, but I'm gonna go ahead and give you that qualifier right there. But I've been around it my whole life, so I kind of knew. And I watched these other people doing it. I'm like, well, I sure as hell I'm not gonna do that. But the number one thing was let go of the trans brake, let off the gas, and to tell yourself to hold that thing to the floor. And then you're talking about a 12,000 horsepower machine. That alone takes everything you got.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, and I remember when I got to warm up it's been 2 or 3 years ago. Maybe it was during COVID. I can't remember, but remember when I went to, I got to warm up.
Dude, I was thought to myself, if they ask me to do this, I'm hesitant. I'm glad Wes is doing it, because if they ask me, I'm gonna have to think about it for a minute.
I got to tell you, I mean, I've been in and around this shit my whole life. And when I jumped into Scott Palmer's Top Fuel dragster and they fired that thing up, it got my attention. And I talked to Erica about this. I'm like, I was personally just shocked at how violent they are at idle. And Richard Freeman was on speakerphone, and Richard goes, they pin the sons of bitches down. And it's true. Like these things, when they're sitting on projects at idle, it is so violent, popping and cackling and pop. And then Scott wanted me to whack the throttle, not once, but twice, you know, and I'm going,
That was at Indy.
Indy.
Yeah. And you got a crowd of people.
Oh, bro.
And everybody's like, hey, Wes Buck's getting in that car to warm it up. I mean,
it scared the shit out of me. Pressure. And then I think about rolling through a puddle of water and stabbing the gas. And I'm like, and I think about the Maddie Gordons. I'm going, most people in motorsports couldn't carry that young lady's helmet back. Right. Like it's that to me, like we get caught up in like the technical ability and the skill and the prowess, blah, 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 blah. Those things are fun to talk about. But just the courage, just the balls that it takes to get into one of those things, they're bombs. They blow up more often than not. right? I mean, how every highlight reel in the history of drag racing is a Top Fuel dragster or a funny car for the most part, bursting into flames, spontaneously combusting. And
I
it's
saw
like,
a
how do
highlight
you
reel
get that
thing
out of
from
your
Diamond
mind?
P from the 80s, and someone, it was like a great like intro video for like maybe the US Nationals or something, like come on out as you know this weekend or whatever, and it was nothing but crashes and explosions. It was, and this was like from the NHRA. So it's like, yeah,
it's
you're right.
crazy,
Everything
dude.
we've
And
ever used is a explosion.
I mean, you think about these drivers, they're in a minivan or an SUV before they make a run. They got an oxygen mask on. Like, they're doing everything in their power to like calm down and prepare themselves for what's about to happen. And again, like you said, I think so many of us, I'm guilty of it. You're guilty of it. God knows if JT was on here, I can't count how many times JT's told me, I'll drive it. I'll do whatever. Right. I mean, and it's JT. So funny. We've got to get JT to work on that in a fast car. Like, we've got to get JT in a fast car, because he's been in like
even
fast street cars, but something that's going to go like a 130 or better 60 foot that's going to get his attention.
Nothing.
You know, like
better than that.
That will get your attention. Yeah, that would be. But I mean, he needs something that will demonstrate to him, because he's a class. I mean, he's a fan. There's no doubt. But I don't know that
clowning
people.
JT.
While he's gone, right? His daughter's car broke down on the side of the road, so he's being dad of the year right now, which is a huge accomplishment for JT. I mean, I feel like we should give it up. Like, he dropped everything to go be a dad. Round of applause for JT. This is probably one of the
when JT's not here, I like to get on the
ones and twos. T. Kirkman is very concerned about my looks today. I'm not sunburned, dog. Like,
always, and you must be new to the show. Welcome.
No, I mean, I don't even feel like I'm red really at all today. You know, I mean, I was pretty proud of this look, to be honest. You know,
we got to get JT. Another thing about the whole just getting in a drag car, the fire suit, the helmet, whatever you got, neck roll, whatever head sock, whatever you got on top of that, the gloves. You put gloves on, you're like, I can't even grip or control anything. How am I gonna, do this? And then
the gloves really
fire that thing up. Yeah, they fire that thing up, or in your head neck restraint, and then they fire it up, and then they shut the door. And I'm claustrophobic. I'm not afraid to admit. And that alone, I was like, I don't even know if I'm ready for that. Just that.
I remember when Travis Pastrana, this is a dude who is the ultimate extreme athlete. I don't know that anybody can argue that. Travis Pastrana has broken like every bone in his body. He's backflipped everything under the sun, monster trucks, dirt bikes. I don't even know what he hasn't flipped.
He's in
the
hospital now. Right? He just broke something again.
Oh, so I mean, we're reporting on Travis Pastrana. I hope he's okay. Great guy. But I remember Travis Pastrana jumped out of an airplane without a parachute. Right? Like, that's a true story. It's on YouTube. Look it up. Like, it's bonkers what this guy's willing to do. I was at ZMAX Dragway a few years ago when he made a couple of he attempted to make a couple of passes in Scott Palmer's Top Fuel Dragster. And brother, he climbed in that car, to your point. He got the fire suit on, got the gloves on, got the head and neck restraint on, got the helmet on. And it's just, obviously this whole process. And he literally sat down in the car, and we started strapping him in, like belting him down. And he literally said, hey, I got to get out. I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
And he literally climbed back out of the car and had to go take a breath and get his bearings, because he was so overwhelmed by just getting in the thing. And I don't, those are the stories that we probably need to tell more frequently, because it would help sell the sport or put the sport over. Because again, if you're some fan sitting on your couch watching from home, it's easy to think that these are guys and gals just jumping in these things, stabbing the gas and driving in a straight line. Watch some of those videos Chad Green's team has been putting on social media, where he's going through the finish line at 330 miles an hour with the wheel clocked completely. And you're going, the thing's trying to go straight, but he's literally fighting this thing. And Drag Racing Mayhem say this a second ago, but it's really, we don't do a good enough job talking about the level of difficulty of the understanding.
Everyone wants to be too cool for school. And 100%. It's like, no, not me. I'm exempt from that. I got this. But it was good to see Travis Pastrana do that. I remember you and I talked about it. We hung around all day, and they're kind of getting him acclimated and getting this car ready and everything. And we almost said, man, if he just jumps in this thing and goes out here and just does everything perfectly and then just lights it down through there and then comes back like, yeah, man, I mean, that was fun or whatever. Like, that's not really ideal. And he was kind of working toward that. We're like, yep, he's going to just, act like it's no big deal. And then that deal happened where he kind of had that moment. And he even had Tony Stewart coaching him up, who he had just recently, I think, started racing the alcohol car and was working on getting his Top Fuel license or working up to the Top Fuel situation. I think he had maybe made a couple of passes, and he was telling him, hey, man, like, I know you're a badass and everything, but you need to really respect this thing. And so to see that happen and then see him have that reaction, and then he went on and did a fantastic job. And it really kind of validated what we're talking about.
It does. And like I said, reiterating those moments where you have somebody that's that qualified, who's done it all, to be able to have him be nervous. Because you're right. I remember you going, dude, if this dude jumps in this thing and just takes it down Broadway, no problem, this is not good. Right. And the fact that it was the calamity that it was probably one of the best sales tools our sport has ever had. But we're so laser focused on racing, right? And like what happens and like, what did he run? That those things just get glossed over. I was talking to Erica Enders, and she mentioned that whenever she said it was kind of a lucky timing deal where she got to make her runs before Aaron got to make his. So they were able to kind of, talk about it. She was able to debrief to him. And then after he ran, he was able to debrief to her. And they, of course, had Tony Stewart, Leah Pruitt, the Mike Green, Joe Barlam, all these people that were around the operation, like providing feedback. But she said that she asked Aaron, hey, did your vision like change? And he's like, hell yeah, my vision changed. She said, like, when the clutch comes in one of those Top Fuel cars, it's unlike anything that she'd ever experienced before. And literally your vision changes significantly. Like, you're just trying to stay straight because it's really, really, really hard to discern what else is going on beyond that. And I just like, when you're talking to somebody who's made that many runs down the drag strip, that it was still that gnarly of an experience. I don't know. I think that tells. I
like hearing that. And I don't want to experience this really. I'll never get in a Top Fuel car, but it's got to be wild to be used to something just hitting you so hard off the line. And then you get that initial hit, and then you start to straighten yourself out and get your bearings. And then you're kind of like dialed in and cruising at that point. But for it to be the opposite, where it kind of, I don't know, they all act like it leaves a little bit lazy, and then it starts just pulling. Like, it's got to be this feeling like you've lost control of the car. I think you initially feel like when you launch, you've lost control for a split second, and then you regain your bearings and you're back in control, pointing toward the finish line, doing the things you need to do. But with that car, it's just like more and more and more, like it's not going to stop, or am I going to get it stopped in time? I can imagine that has got to be a really, obviously breathtaking, but like, jarring experience.
Well, I think it's really so unnatural. Like, almost every other drag racing vehicle pulls off the line and then starts to nose over, right? Like, it settles down as you get going. Obviously, you're gaining speed, but you're not accelerating near like you were when you took off. And I think that's Aaron Stanfield said that to me. He goes, it went like 870 something, 60 foot. And like, you could tell you were moving, but it wasn't that much different than the Pro Mod car. Right? Those things are going high eights, 890, 9 flat, 60 foot, fairly regular at this point in time. He said it was literally when you got 300, 400, 500 feet down track and you're anticipating it nosing over or kind of settling in, and it just starts pulling even harder. That's when you realize how much power this thing actually makes. And I think that's like the big eye-opening experience for anybody that jumps behind the seat of a Top Fuel car or a funny car, is that just that top end pull is unlike anything else in motorsports. I mean, you start talking about 12,000 horsepower, and I don't know that any of us really can wrap our head around what that actually represents. And there's a great comment here just talking about Cletus McFarland selling. Cameron Johnson actually bought the Eagle radial tire car that Cletus McFarland took, I think, to a handful of races, maybe one. Went to World Cup last November, set the fastest speed ever for a small radial tire car, went 261.87, and then damn near immediately realized like, hey, that's faster than I want to go. And I would argue that it's almost, I don't know, how do you say, like, it's hard. All of this stuff at that speed is unsafe. But you start talking about a near 3,000 pound car going 260 plus, that's a whole other conversation in and of itself. But there is a realization. And I mean, I think about it every time, like, and that's why I'm so crazy about making sure that all of our drivers are being seen by our team at Racers for Christ at our events. Like, I'm not trying to be overtly dramatic here, but there is a real harsh reality that what we do is insanely dangerous. It's a choice that's made. Volunteers can't be victims, right? But at the same time, anytime you're having to pray for your safety and well-being before you embark on a task, it should get your attention. And again, I don't know if as fans we should find more ways to drill down on that, because we need to do a better job of demonstrating to the masses, like, especially if we want to grow the sport, like, and get more people involved and get more people to pay attention to what we do. Recognizing that these guys are modern day daredevils is a big step in the right direction. And I don't think we do enough of it. I mean, I saw there was a couple of comments talking about, Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that was the draw. That was the draw in the original days. I think it really was, like, in the 50s and 60s and 70s, you know, these superstars were born, but the sheer act of, like, people came to watch, like, the craziness of drag racing and the unpredictability of it. And in one way, it's a great thing because we've taken a lot of that out, but you know, you're also kind of over or underselling how
the violence
it is
and
how
chaos.
dangerous it is and what is actually going on. It's all so controlled now. So we find ourselves trying to uncover the new ways to find that danger, whether it be small tires, whether it be like like Cletus's car, anything we can do to try to, you know, no prep, back half, anything you can come up with to try to bring some
I'm
of that
just
back.
waiting.
That's usually the things that take off. Like, as soon as something like that reintroduces that danger and excitement, it usually
compare and contrast what we do in drag racing to any other sport. It'd be like, drag racing is dangerous enough on, like, a perfectly prepared concrete, incredible surface. Drag racers, we're going to find a way to go the other direction. I mean, like, these back of the track races and these no prep events, to me, it's almost like, hey, we're going to sandblast the racing surface so we can make it as dangerous and sketchy as humanly possible. And we're going to have people lined up to try to do it. It would be akin to the NFL deciding that they were going to play a game without helmets. Like, hey, guys, this has been hard, but I had an idea. What could we do to make it harder and more dangerous? Let's play this game. No helmets, no pads, full contact.
It'd be making the entire NBA wear Chuck Taylor Converses. This is Chuck Taylor special.
It's so true, right?
It's like, so what's special about that game tonight? Well, everybody's got to wear Chuck Taylors. Can't even wear their new.
Do you know how many people
shoes.
would tune into an NFL game if it was the no helmet game?
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, hey, dude, this Sunday on Amazon, or Thursday night, Amazon Prime, doing everything we can to bolster viewership. No helmets. That's right. No helmets Thursday night. Like, it would be, but it seems like drag racing, that's kind of what we do damn near all the time. Like, it seems like it's only a matter of time before somebody hoses the track down with WD-40 and is like, hey, it's the WD-40 Nationals. We're going to see who can make it down this slip and slide the best. But that's kind of what it is. Weird. Like, we go out of our way. Challenge. How much narrower the tires can the tires get? Like, we're down to now like 26 inch tall tire, 8-inch wide. I mean, it's getting pretty crazy. I mean, their guys are going bottom fours in the 8th mile on like 26 850s. That's pretty nasty, man. No wheelie bars, but that's just the name of the game, man. Drag racers are going to find a way to make it as hard and challenging as possible. But again, we don't do a very good job of selling that. Like, these small tire races, especially the small tire, slick tire races, like these 28, 10, 5, no rules races. There, I mean, the IHRA kind of had it going a little bit. I like to think that we got it rocking and rolling with the True 10-5 deal at World Series of Pro Mod. Like, it was one of the first like big ones that were kind of starting to pop back up. But that, to me, that is one of the most exciting classes to watch in drag racing as a whole here today. Jimmy Dale made an awesome video on his YouTube channel the other day, and he told me that driving that Bumblebee car, which is now the dime wrap that you guys did at Victory Vinyl. The dime piece, DYME, Dime Fittings, our new friend Cody and the gang. But anyways, he told me that car, it's like playing your favorite video game on the hardest difficulty. You know, and it's to me, that was like a great little metaphor or whatever, because I think we all know, like, I'm a gamer. It's no secret that I'm a video gamer, but I always crank the difficulty way down. Right. My life's hard enough. I ain't trying to play a video game that's hard.
You crank it way up.
No, dude, as soon as I get a video game, I like whatever it is. I'm like, do they have an easy mode? Because I just want to shoot people, run around.
You sound like,
you know what I mean?
Christian. He wants to buy all the latest, all the cheats. Not cheats.
What happened to cheats? What happened to cheat codes?
They want you to pay for it now. Oh, you want this whatever weapon that's badass? $20.
Every video game should have like an infinite health and an infinite ammo cheat. Like, that's just
they do, and you just have to pay for it now. It's
how do you pay for it?
Microtransactions inside the game. Yeah,
I need you to send me some notes on this, because a lot of
every
the games
game you've ever played, NBA 2K, don't you and Max play that all the time? They're always wanting you to buy new outfits and things.
But I don't see any more, like, I don't see any infinite. You can't max out your stats on NBA 2K.
No, probably not, because everything's an online game now.
Assassin's Creed, you can't get all the smoke bombs. You can't have unlimited smoke bombs.
Yeah,
They've just
taken the cheat codes and are like, oh, we'll just.
Well, don't you remember when it was like up, down, left, right, A, B, C, D? Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want. I want button combinations to come back. Or Grand Theft Auto. You remember you called the special phone numbers from your cell phone in Grand Theft Auto? You pull open your phone and you dial a certain number and you got infinite ammo. You dial another number and you got a rocket launcher. Those things to me are important in life.
But you can't do that now on because everything's online and everybody's got to be even, because it's all like hyper competitive online.
Yeah, that's
what's happened there.
Everything turns into a business, is what it, they got to sell you stuff. Also,
capitalism, man. Capitalism, late stage capitalism. It's dead.
Grand Theft Auto coming out. Let's talk a little bit about Grand Theft Auto, greatest video game of all time.
We're stalling in case you guys can't.
I don't think we're, but I'm not stalling. This is stuff that I'm extremely interested in. November 19th.
We'd rather talk about this than just about anything, but we do have Steve King coming. He's I think he's traveling to, I don't know, where's he going? PDRA? Yeah, he's going to PDRA this weekend, and he's in a bad service area. So we're going to try to get him once he gets some good signal. And then we've also got Scott Taylor, which I actually think would be this whole conversation about the perception of the average fan. Like someone like Scott that's dealt with Street Outlaws, the stardom of the mainstream TV audience and how they perceive what he does.
Brother, everybody's biting on the Grand Theft Auto thing. It's happening. Let's go back to GTA. We'll talk
Tom
to
Grooves. You don't have GTA 4 pre-ordered, dude. You got GTA 6, and I got it pre-ordered too. And I pre-ordered the first day it was available for pre-order.
Sophia,
it's going to auto download to my console the second it's available. So
I'm not taking the day off for. I'm taking. Back when I was a kid growing up in rural Missouri, people all over would take the entire week off for deer season. Are you familiar with it? Do people hunt deer in North Carolina?
Yeah, but not that much. Not like that.
Like my best friend, Tim Morton, Tugboat, literally, he worked at an auto body shop. He would literally take the whole week, and it would cause significant stress and pain to the business.
You can't get Richard Freeman to do anything around whenever deer season starts. He's like, cancel the race. He ain't coming because it's deer season.
You need to not do the winter series because I am not missing deer season.
And now look, he's sponsored by Field and Stream, man. Look, dreams come true, dude.
Dreams come true. Well, I'm telling you, November 19th, when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, I need everybody on the planet to know I'm taking the week off, right? So I'm going to take that entire week off. We're not doing the show. If we do the show, I'm going to stream live on Twitch or something. Blake, figure that out. Right. We're just going to game.
Well, this is good. This is November, what?
November 19th.
November 19th. Sweet.
Yeah, I'm counting down the days, dude. Like, I'm genuinely excited about it.
We usually would be gearing up for Snowbirds and PRI. we still got to gear up for PRI, so, and Thanksgiving right around that time. So we'll have to get with HR and see if you've got enough days stacked up to be able to do that.
I should, man. I'm serious. They've delayed this video game release like 6 times. And if it doesn't come out on November 19th, I picked Sophia up from school yesterday and she's like, Dad, I heard that Grand Theft Auto 6 got delayed again. And I was like pissed. And then turns out she was wrong. But I am taking the entire week off, Tom. She was clowning me a little bit.
They're doing a preview
on Netflix.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'll be watching it. Don't worry.
It's big time. And Christian, my 11-year-old son's all fired up about it. And he wants me to allow him to play this mature rated game because it's the biggest game of all time. And I think I told him when he was like 7 years old or something, that when GTA 6 comes out, that I would let him.
I don't know that you're going to be able to let him, Mike.
He's holding my feet to the fire on this.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you're going to be able to pull that off, because just knowing how these games typically go and how long it's been since releases, they're probably going to try to push the envelope in every imaginable way.
I don't know, dude. The internet's so corrupt now, and God knows what he's watching every day on YouTube or other games. I mean, I try to have all the parental controls on lockdown, but
I had to unfollow Cycle Drag the other day because it was just like basically soft core. I'm like, dude, this is not advisory. Racing. Yeah, I had to because it's just not what I'm trying to see on my Facebook timeline, right? Like, I'm just trying to check out what the neighbors are doing. We're actually looking for our cat. I make a public service announcement right now that our cat, Clover, our kitten, well, he's not a kitten, he's 11. Our cat has disappeared. So if anybody lives in the greater DFW area and sees a really sweet gray and black cat, it's probably ours. He's been gone for 9 days. So we're assuming that he's been eaten by a bobcat or something terrible. But our cat's been missing. Soph cried herself to sleep the other night. Alicia's been all devastated. It's been a rough couple of days, bro.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, thanks,
you guys love your cats, that's for sure.
We do. We looked,
and he is a nice cat,
everywhere for this thing last night. I mean, I'm telling you, we drove around. I bought a flashlight. I got on Amazon and actually did some AI research first. I said, what is the brightest flashlight money can buy? I want it to be like the surface of the sun whenever I go look for this cat. So I found a badass 16,000 lumen flashlight.
Did you hold it up like this and then turn the light on to see if it works?
It'd have killed me. I'd have died instantly. I swear, dude.
Blow your head off.
I mean, it's that bright. It gets so hot. It's insane, dude. But like literally pitch blackout last night. You turn this son of a bitch on. It's like high noon. It's 500 meters. I mean, it lit like there's this giant grassy area kind of right down the road from us. And it was dark, right? You can't see anything. And I flipped this bad boy on. It's like, oh, shit, God turned the lights on. I mean, it's that bright, but we still.
So do you think he's going to come out at night? Is that what you're thinking? Is he nocturnal?
The internet says that the internet says the best time to look for them is like at dusk or like the middle of the night. So I pulled off the middle of the night thing, but then I started thinking there are people in our neighborhood that are probably like lying in bed and see me throw this freaking nuclear light switch on. And it probably scares the hell out of them. I'm surprised I didn't get arrested. But
well, dude, don't cats just show back up after a little while? And they're just like, yeah,
that's what people keep telling everybody.
Had a little separation.
Yeah, everybody. Sophia's little best friend Stella down the street is like, we had a cat one time that was gone for 12 days and it showed back up. And so, anyways, I'm hoping. It's sad. Otherwise, we're gonna have to get another one. You know, it is a male cat, Josh.
Put an air tag on it next time.
Can you? So I've been watching Lioness. Have you seen this show on Paramount Plus?
I've heard of it. I have not watched it.
All right, drop whatever you're doing and watch Lioness. It is absolutely fantastic. It is. I'm a Taylor Sheridan fan. I go to the gym with Taylor Sheridan. I like to talk about this a lot. Okay. Taylor Sheridan goes to my gym. We've never spoken. We have made eye contact twice. 2 times made eye contact with Taylor Sheridan. But anyways, I'm a big fan of Taylor Sheridan. I'm a Yellowstone guy. I'm a Landman guy. I love those shows. And I'm more of a movie guy than I am a show guy. Alicia's a show person. She has to have a show. She needs a show in her life at all times to maintain happiness.
Yep.
But I really, really, really like this Lioness show. So anyways, this show, why was I talking about Lioness? Oh, Taylor Sheridan.
Air tags.
Oh, air tags. all these freaking CIA agents, I asked this to Alicia, why can't we get some sort of injectable tracker? Like if the CIA has them, why can't we get one for our cat?
They
right?
make those. That's a real thing.
So it's an injectable and they're trackable forever?
Yeah. Yeah. Because when you get a new dog, that's one you take it to the vet.
I thought that was just a microchip.
It is, but it does the same thing.
But it tracks?
Yeah, they've got something now.
I thought you just scanned it and said their ID.
They've got collars now that have
our
like
cat won't wear a collar. As soon as we put a cat on a collar, as soon as we put a collar on Clover, he will literally get it off his big head.
Yeah. There's no good way to do it, but something.
So we need your next one. I want an injectable.
Try to step up your tech game a little bit. Is this really Sophia on here? Is this your actual daughter, Sophia? Is this somebody?
Are you serious? No, she's at school, dude. Oh. Soph's at school till 4 o'clock. They don't get out of school till 4.
Whoever it is like, it seemed like they were. Clover is too friendly for a cat. He's Wes in cat form, so he's probably like partying somewhere. That's what she just said.
Who is this?
I mean, that's like intimate knowledge here.
So Tom Grooms is saying you can't track them with you. That's what I want. I want a tracker like the CIA has. That's what I'm.
No,
multiple
because of
people,
the battery. But at least a it's Alicia.
Oh, that tracks. It's my wife.
Yeah,
always watching me.
I was like, let's check and make sure, because if this isn't someone in your family, that we're very worried right now.
Okay. I was getting a little bit worried as well.
You know,
it's Leon Kennedy, the main character guy from Resident Evil, as the profile photo. That tracks. It's it's Alicia. Yeah.
AirTags work off of Bluetooth, low energy. So they're a very low battery consumption, and they ping off the nearest iPhone or iPad or whatever that's in the iOS ecosystem. So that's how they work and work for so long, compared to a GPS, which needs battery, like is battery hungry.
Yeah. Well, that's what I want. I want a tracking device. So if anybody's got any,
this is the most off the rails show we've ever done, probably, right?
I don't know, man. I was kind of feeling it today. Like there's a lot of drag racing stuff to talk about, but sometimes it feels like we talk so much of the.
Here.
All right, here I got a list.
We were excited to talk. No. I want to talk about the Del Worsham.
Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about.
Nitro alcohol. Funny. What are we calling that thing?
That's part of the problem. All right. Yeah. For those that don't know, this is a thing that's gone on, and this was announced last year, and it kind of went under the radar. The NHRA announced that they were going to allow a new combination into Top Alcohol Funny Car. Mike immediately flagged this as like, oh, isn't that what Randy Meyer was doing and Julia Natas, et cetera, et cetera? And I said, no, Mike, that was injected nitro, right? Which seemed like kind of a obvious evolution of Top Alcohol Funny Car, because A-Fuel has been very prominent and very successful in Top Alcohol Dragster for years, right? I mean, I think it could be argued that it's the dominant combination in Top Alcohol Dragster. So it made sense for that to arrive in Top Alcohol Funny Car. However, what we're talking about here and now is a blown nitro combination in Funny Car, and the key differences are really just that it's like a single magneto, smaller fuel pump, 85% nitromethane. I think they're limited to, I put it in my notes, 16.99% supercharger overdrive. They're limited to a 4-disc clutch with 6 primary levers, and they're not allowed any of the super exotic clutch management.
So this is like the Big Daddy Don Garlits combination. This is like what Big Daddy has been saying forever, that he wants to see Top Fuel and Funny Car go back to, and that they could go back to quarter mile and rein in costs tremendously. But that's probably a whole different tangent.
Well, dude, I mean, the story of the weekend, I mean, if you really look at everything that happened at the NHRA race in Brainerd, I don't know that there's anything that was a bigger story than Jake Slater driving that Del Worsham owned Funny Car. It's basically a big show Funny Car with a smaller pump and a single coil. And to me, this is like huge news. I mean, the thing went 291 miles an hour, right? It clipped the Top Alcohol Funny Car record by like 40 miles an hour. Like, this is absolutely batshit crazy. Right. And I mean, it did. I don't know. There was a video, like, I think in round 1, maybe it was, I was watching the live feed, or what round was it? Let me pull it up. Jake Slater might've been in the final first round. He goes 558 at 273, right? Had a single. And you see Del Worsham like put his hands on his head, because I think it's, to me, yeah, I mean, and I'm being dramatic, Stan. I appreciate it. Yeah. But I mean, clip the record. Nobody, you don't, you don't beat the record by 15 miles an hour. It's absolutely bananas.
It's a back half machine. And so they're just,
but I think
easing it off, and it's a back half machine. It
pulls like a freight train.
Is dangerous in itself, because we've seen this before. Like, anytime you can do that with a combination, it means you got a lot left, and you can just keep turning it on earlier.
It's like the Shane Tecklenburg approach. He always talks about racing from the finish line backwards. Like, hey, we're running this, and we're just going to keep pulling it back, you know, getting faster. Yeah. And when I see something go 291 miles an hour, to me, it really is a shocking thing. But there is a whole conversation to be had. Is this the organic feeder system that nitro funny car racing has needed? Where the story that Del Worsham gives is basically when he made the move from blown alcohol funny car racing to nitro racing, was that he was able to use so many of the parts and pieces from his blown alcohol operation that it wasn't like a wholesale change. He wasn't starting from zero. And I think there's a little bit of a belief that will, you know, that could happen again, that you could recreate that opportunity for these teams. But this is a really interesting time.
Alcohol funny car.
That's what I'm saying.
In the meantime, it's very polarizing. I saw some of these comments. It's like, okay, is that the direction we're going, or have we basically just junked everything else and ruined alcohol funny car, a class that was already not that
in trouble? And I think it's safe to say,
but where did
that it's in trouble?
And was this something that was under the radar until this happened this past weekend? And
I don't think anybody had taken
change happened here. And when did that happen? And when did the talk that Dell was going to show up with this thing, you know, when did that start? And as you were saying, no one expected this to happen, I guess.
No, I don't know that anybody expected it to be. I don't know. The people I was talking to, I talked to Will Hanna last week, former owner of InsideTopAlcohol.com, and we talked about it. And he was like, I get the idea. I understand that we need to do something. Something has to shake this whole deal up. It was actually last spring. It looks like Dale Worsham and Terry Haddock had been testing this thing in 2024. It was made legal for this season, but Brainerd was the first time it was actually put into competition.
I mean,
but
I heard very little uproar about this. Way more uproar about the Randy Meyer deal and what they were doing. And didn't you? I mean, and that turned out to be way less, you know, whatever you want to say. The performance of that thing was nowhere near what this is. So this seems to have really caught a lot of people by surprise.
It definitely caught me by surprise.
Possibly
like, it wasn't like
based on his reaction, like you said. So
to me, I just think the whole thing is, I think we got to give NHRA credit. They take such a beating, right? Like NHRA is everyone's favorite punching bag, and they are basically damned if they do and damned if they don't, right? Like, so I got to give them credit for doing anything to try to bring interest, try to bring some new, some excitement to top alcohol racing. So bravo to NHRA. But there are times when I go, I don't know. I really don't know. I think about the teams that switched from a clutch, right, to a torque converter to make their top alcohol to improve their top alcohol program. I mean, we've seen almost everybody switch to a converter drive in top alcohol funny car. And I just wonder, like, how many cycles can they survive, right? Like, how many cycles of like, okay, we just made these changes. We're going fast. We've got a competitive car. And I don't know what it is. Like, I hear, you know, we always hear talk of purse money, like, oh, it's got to pay more money. It's got to pay more money. I don't know if that's necessarily the answer, because we've seen time and time again, like perhaps the greatest lesson that drag racing learned from the International Hot Rod Association over the course of the last 2 years was that a big payout is not exactly a magic bullet. It is not the singular thing that is going to just fix everything and you're going to be fighting cars off. You're going to have more than you need. It's not the only thing that matters. I wonder if the NHRA, to me, wanted to make funny car more of more of a draw or entice more people to go there or treat it like a feeder system, it needs to be spotlighted more. Like the whole racing at 9 o'clock in the morning in front of empty grandstands. I know that they're limited on time as it is, but trying to structure it. I mean, I think a case could be made for running Top Alcohol Funny Car and Top Alcohol Dragster to completion on Saturday night. Like treat it like your Busch series in NASCAR, where it is a standalone show, right? Like
alcohol really does get, honestly, probably the worst time slots of the entire weekend, if you think about it.
I think so.
They really do.
Because the cars are going to go down the track more often than not, right? Like I mean, I'm not saying they're not. Obviously, track prep is a consideration for every class, right? And I'm not trying to, but it feels like, you know, the dragsters for sure, the funny cars, they're going to make the trip more often than not. A lot of guys with a lot of runs under their belt. So I do think that they kind of get thrown to the wolves. But like personally, when I look at drag racing and I look at like even Drag Illustrated, what we do best, like if there is a singular function that we serve as a whole, it is to make these men and women feel good about the money they spend going drag racing, right? We treat racers like rock stars. We put them on the cover of the magazine. We do big photo, like we do all the things. We have this show, we interview them. Like that's a whole part of our deal, is giving them a platform. And I think if the NHRA maybe opened their mind that it's maybe not even about the rules, maybe the rules don't matter. Like obviously you've got to have competition and they've got to be fair, but those are not goals. Those are expectations. That should go without saying, right? But I think that it's really about the presentation. And if you treated these guys and gals like a show, even if it was a show within a show, like I don't know that that would be all bad. I mean, you could clear up some time for your Sunday race day when you're in this tight TV window. Don't be afraid of some downtime, embrace that, but give this thing an opportunity. Because I think the biggest problem that exists, and like I had this problem when I was involved with NHRA Pro Mod pretty heavily, we would bring a sponsor out, or we would bring a well-to-do business owner that had an interest in drag racing, right? That there's probably an opportunity to get them involved. You bring them out there to run the car and there's no one in the grandstands. It's some odd hour. It's late at night or it's early in the morning. It's not a good look. And that's
where
really,
that's why I say
really
it's
hard.
Such a bad time slot, because these are very fast, most professional cars for the most part, with some sponsorship going on compared to like Super Comp or whatever. And they're getting these horrible time slots. So
I'm telling you, that really time slot in presentation,
they're like in a purgatory in so many ways. Alcohol
really
racing is in a purgatory in so many ways. And I'm sure the smarter minds are going to prevail on this and get this thing figured out. But maybe this is the first step. Maybe NHRA trying this new combination is the first step. But let's pay some bills. We got our guests stacked.
I've got to finish my thought on this though. Literally, there is no amount of rule changes. There is no amount of purse money that is going to alter changing what happens, or that is going to make as big of a difference, is how these men and women and their race teams are presented. And I think if the NHRA wants to re-energize Top Alcohol racing or establish it as this natural feeder system, they've got to make it a standalone show. And I don't know if that happens at standalone events or if that happens as a Saturday night, you know, hey, tonight's Top Alcohol presented by whatever, you know, there's ways to do this. It's creative thinking. It's sitting around. And I saw a comment here from Stan Waxberg, Mike, and I think you'll agree with me. Years ago, Saturday Finish was floated for Pro Stock and they said, hell no. I'll tell you, the first thing they did wrong there was ask the racers. And I'm not saying that like in an insensitive way, but that's kind of the classic letting the inmates run the asylum. I mean, if you ask these guys all what they want, it's going to be a pretty difficult ask, right? It's going to be maximum payout, no entry fee, qualify 75. Like it's tough, right? More of my stuff. So you've got to find a way, or you've got to have the fortitude, the intestinal fortitude to say, hey, we know this is what it's going to take. Like, look at the UFC. Everybody gets tired of my combat sport analogies all the time, but it's true. Like Monday night fights on ESPN back in the day. Right now, today, Dana White's Contender Series, those are all matchups that would be a prelim on a UFC pay-per-view, but they've taken those fights and turned them into standalone programming on a weeknight or on a dedicated night. And those people are becoming stars, right? Because they are presented as the main attraction. And I think so long as Top Alcohol Funny Car, Top Alcohol Dragster, even Pro Stock, some of these other categories are continually presented as the also rans or the filler, that's how they're going to be perceived by the masses. And how do you expect, there is no reason in the world Megan Meyer is not behind the wheel of a drag car every weekend. This girl is a star. She's got a social media following, all those things, but they don't have the sponsorship dollars they're not able to generate the sponsorship dollars to race full time. And to me, that's the bigger problem. And how are they going to get somebody excited about going drag racing if they come out and they try? I mean, the live event is the tip of the sword for drag racing. How many times have we talked about it? It doesn't translate well on TV, blah, blah, blah. If you can get someone out to the racetrack, you're halfway there. But if you get them out to the racetrack and it's not this mind-blowing experience, it's tough, right? So anyways, I think that the answer, solving the problem for Top Alcohol, is to give these guys a platform. So anyways, guys, I am going to take a second here and pay some bills. I want to remind you guys that each and every episode of the Wes Buck Show is made possible by way of Stroud Safety. 100% made in America, 100% built for racers. From drag chutes and seatbelts to fire suits and ballistic blankets, Stroud Safety has been the standard in racing safety equipment for decades. Tommy Cunningham and his team don't cut corners. They build gear that saves lives. If you're serious about safety, there's only one call to make. Check them out at stroudsafety.com and make sure you tell them Wes sent you. Guys, we have a slightly delayed Steve King and Scott Taylor in the green room. Scott will be, we're running just a touch behind. I'm going to go ahead and jump in with the one and only 2025 World Series of Pro Mod champion, Steve King. What's up, big dog?
What's happening, Wes, buddy? Glad to be here. Every time I come on this show, man, I get goosebumps.
Oh, no joke?
Yeah, I do, man. We do our own little podcast, but man, I come on your show. I don't know what it is. I get goosebumps.
Oh, dude, you're making me blush. Everybody already tells me how red I am. I don't need any help, buddy, but I surely appreciate it, man. So headed to PDRA Galat this weekend. What's new and exciting, brother? I know it sounds like the Pro Mod, the Savage Pro Mod Corvette is going to remain in the trailer this weekend. Back-to-back weekends are certainly a challenge, but diving into Top Dragster?
Yeah, we're going to jump into a little Top Dragster. I got a local guy, Robbie Stewart, here. He does some mechanical work and stuff on some of my equipment and stuff at home, and he's got a dragster sitting there in the trailer. I said, well, hell, he's been wanting me to drive it. I said, let's go. So we're going to see what we can do, going down here and swim with the sharks.
Oh, dude, I tell people all the time, I have had many a conversation with racers who opt not to go to PDRA races because they just don't want to swim in shark-infested waters.
Yeah, that Top Dragster category is no joke. I mean, we can talk about Pro Modified all day long, but I'm telling you, Top Dragster, you got 80 cars, like the World Series Pro Mod. You got to be on your game every single run. So I'm just hoping to get in the show. This thing, I don't know, it should run some 430s. I hope that's enough to get in and see if we can do any damage. I've driven a dragster once or twice, so I don't have a lot of seat time behind that thing, but it can't be that bad, can it?
Oh, no, you'll be just fine, Steve. If you can be the last man standing at the World Series of Pro Mod, I don't know that there's anything in drag racing that you can't do, man. And I think, honestly, stay in racing. I mean, I'm sure the next race on your schedule for Pro Mod is the fast approaching YellowBullet.com Nationals at Cecil County Dragway, one of the greatest drag races in the country today, in my opinion. And I think staying fresh, man, we see it a lot in the fuel ranks, pro stock ranks. The guys who are killers on the tree race a lot. They see those bulbs quite frequently. So I don't think it's a mistake to just stay behind the wheel.
No, 100%. That's one reason why we're going. It's a little bit more seat time, a couple more shots at the tree. And then, next week we're going to go up there and test at Cecil, probably starting on Wednesday. And, back-to-back weekends racing with the Pro Mods, pretty tough situation. So we just figured Gene wanted to wait to the Yellow Bullet, and I didn't want to be out of the seat that long.
No, I don't blame you, man. Tell me a little bit about Yellow Bullet. I mean, this race, you've won it before. It's a badass event. For those that haven't been to Jim Halsey and Monty Miko's Yellow Bullet Nationals, this is a real cultural happening in drag racing. Like it's a whole community of people that come from all over creation. It's like this family gathering of misfits and outlaws and badasses that all come to one place at one time. We got to go last year, and it was absolutely spectacular. I know it's an important one on your schedule. I mean, just kind of tell me about your relationship. I mean, you're the defending champion.
Yeah, man, we love this race. Gene, who obviously is pilot racing, loves the race. Monty and Jimmy and those guys do one hell of a job up there. Jimmy has that racetrack on kill. When you roll in there, you better you better bring some gear ratios, and you better move all the graph up on the thing to make it run. But it's more than a race. You go up there, Monty does this big kids giveaway, and that's a big thing with Gene and myself both. And a lot of bicycles and toys given away throughout that race, and the kids are there. And we do a lot of giveaways with shirts and just anything for the kids, hand clappers, bang sticks. I don't know what Gene's got in store this year. We still got a whole bunch of other stuff, but I'm sure it's going to be a bunch. But bringing those kids in there is a big part of what that race is about.
I agree, man. I actually got to help you guys. Me, Jess, Gene, you, we were all launching stuff out to the crowd last year. Had an absolute blast, man. And I hate that we're going to miss it. We're headed to Indy for the big go. We think internally we've kind of decided that we're going to alternate back and forth. Like we got to spread it around. We're actually doing the Wes Buck Show live from the pits at the NHRA US Nationals next Friday. I'm super fired up about that. One of our probably biggest live opportunities, or like live on-site opportunities that we've ever had. Shout out to the NHRA for welcoming us in the way they have. But no, that's a special drag race. And I'm sure he's got a whole list of hitters. What do the rules look like? Did they make any changes to their rules headed into 26?
Yeah, they're very, very similar to PDRA with, the Pro Boost category, along with, I think the nitrous cars are a touch lighter than Pro Nitrous or whatnot to try to give them a little bit more of a reason to be there. But Jimmy will probably go out there. I'm sure he'll have his car out there and see what those, see what he can do. I hear there's going to be some boost cars there. So hopefully every year, I mean, it's a stellar pack field. Jimmy Taylor's coming, with that damn turbo pop monster that goes out there and just rips the scoreboards down on, it's a very, very competitive field. So you got to have your A game. Pretty much pro modified. I don't care where you race. You better bring your A game.
I don't think it's ever been tougher than it is in 2026. I mean, we're probably as a class, like, I think it's kind of reaching this threshold or this moment in time where it's pro stock on steroids. I mean, for 100 years, pro stock was always like the example that was given when you talk about close competition in drag racing. But there's nothing like Pro Mod, 8th Mile Outlaw Pro Mod today. And for me, it's a super exciting thing, but it's a double-edged sword, right? I mean, you have guys that go, okay, I don't know that I belong here, or I'm going to race locally because I can't go compete there. So it has its challenges, but in my opinion, it's a really exciting time for our class. I'm curious, one of the big topics of conversation, and we're kind of headed into the fall, tail end of summer here. We got the trade shows that are coming up just around the corner. We caught wind earlier this week that you have been nominated as a potential Hoosier Hero, Hoosier Racing Tires, big promotion every year where they identify people that run the Hoosier Racing Tire, and they kind of celebrate you guys. I mean, what do you make of this whole thing? Just the opportunity to be like technically, like legitimately associated with a world-class major brand like Hoosier.
Yeah, Hoosier is one of obviously the top brand in tires and pro modified. I mean, that is the most dominant, the Hoosier Hero program. You got there are three pillars, pride, passion, and success. Very similar. This whole deal is very similar to your 30 under 30, except there's no age limit, right? And it doesn't have to be just drivers. It can be anyone from photographer to your crew member to whoever. But, the big thing for me, I've been nominated, and probably the only guy in pro modified that has been nominated, which is a big deal for pro modified, I think, in general. And, we've been nominated. So now it's down to, fan voting to get into that top 12. So, we're hoping to move up in that.
Well, we will do our damnedest to make sure that our own Steve King is in the conversation in that final countdown. Because I believe it goes from like, what is the cuts, Steve? It goes from like X amount of people, like you're in the top 25 or something right now?
Correct. And then it's fan voting gets you down to the final 12, I think, by September 6th, I believe it is, and they've been doing this for a few years now, 5 or 6 years. And gosh, there's a lot of names on there, but from every avenue of motorsports. Yeah. But, we're in there with pro mods, and I might be a little biased here, but pro mods is the class to be in.
It 100% is, man. I mean, you see people say otherwise sometimes, but it's undoubtedly the hottest thing in drag racing today. And it's where a whole lot of the competition lies. And dude, you're right. Hoosier has the pro mod market like cornered right now. I mean,
Yeah.
there are a handful of cars that run on some different tires, but it really is incredible because it's not always been that way. We've seen it go through. I mean, I'm sure in your racing career, I mean, you've seen it. There's almost always like some sort of cycle, but Hoosier has really kind of planted their flag and stayed there. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. You know, those guys in pro mod racing have carried that market for quite a few years. There's been not another tire really that can compete with them. And that goes a lot, you know, for those guys, what they do for what the type of racing we do. You know, you see a lot of Hoosier stuff in dirt track and that type of stuff, but pro mod Hoosier tire is the tire to have. If you don't have it, you're going to be behind.
No, I can't argue, man. I mean, honestly, I don't have a dog in the hunt, but I will say that Hoosier, one of the things that I appreciate about them is their at-track support. Like Frank Papp, Farron, all these people that run around to the racetracks. I think that's something of like a lost art. You know what I mean? In the sport of drag racing, like as these companies get bigger or they get bought up by a big corporation or a private equity firm, it seems like one of the first things that go away is that at track support people.
Yes.
And I think the fact, like, I love that every drag race you go to, it really doesn't matter what banner it is, what flag they're flying. It is, you're going to see somebody in a purple shirt running around, making sure everybody's got what they need or has any questions answered or has the type of support and service that, I don't know, like I said, it's like customer service in this day and age. It's of paramount importance.
Well, it's just like they say on their, you know, their thing. That's a lot of pride they put out there. But then all those guys that work there, the passion they bring, even there, you know, Fred have a little incident there at that last race, and those guys were there to stayed late and got him a new set of tires on the car, front and back. That says a lot about them, you know, and that's what they're about. Very, very similar, just like getting nominated for it. I think it got a lot to do with the success that I got with you guys from Drag Illustrated, the World Series and stuff. You guys have really put us out there, and that I think all that helped tremendously on our side. You know, we've had a little success before that as well, but man, winning that race just put us up on top of the world. And then we're 2 years later, and it's just still on top.
Still riding it, baby. I mean, I tell you what, man, I appreciate you saying that, because that's really been our goal, is like everybody that participates in our events, we want to celebrate and we want to do everything we can, you know, whether you qualify. I mean, it's just the silly stuff that we like try to make sure that everybody gets a jacket, right? Like if you get an invite, you're going to get a jacket. And I'm always proud when I'm running around out and about at PRI or one of these events when it starts to cool off and you see everybody rocking their World Series jacket. Those are badge of honor. And you become a winner. You're a champion of that race. You have bested the absolute greatest drag racers on the planet Earth. And to me, that is, I don't know, that's a feather in our cap, man. We appreciate it. And that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, it's the Mount Rushmore. It is, you know, and you can't take your name off of it once you do it. And I'm super proud to have got it done. You know, took a lot of people behind the scenes to get it done, but we did it, and I couldn't be more proud, you know, really.
Dude, we've been doing the World Series. Think about this, Steve. I was just thinking about this the other day, that we've done the World Series of Pro Mod 7 times. We've had 169 individual drivers enter that race since 2017. No one's won it twice, right? Like to me, that's a pretty amazing stat, right? To have that many drivers, that many incredible, and these aren't, you know, these are real deal operators. These are some of the best drag racers on the planet Earth. To have had 169 unique drivers enter the World Series of Pro Mod in just a relatively short amount of time and have 7 winners, like, to me, like, we've kind of decided internally that that's the story of our race. Like, it has nothing to do with purse money. It has nothing to do with any of that. Like, that's great. And those are things that are obviously always going to be a part of what we do. But we've kind of recognized internally, this is about being the best in the world. Like, that's what this is about. You are going up against the best pro mod racers on the planet. And if you win this race, you can proudly say without question, you are the best there is, right?
For sure. You know, you go down there, you get 80 cars there, the 80 best drivers anywhere in the world. I mean, we're talking worldwide. And to come out without having an electrical problem, a parts failure, driver missed the tree, crew chief missed the setup, just there's a million ways to lose. and to go out there and win one of those races against that type of competition, that's a big feather in your hat that you can.
I'm curious to get your knee-jerk reaction to this, and I appreciate you making it a priority to pop on today. I know you're traveling, but a couple of announcements that we've made that I don't know have hit the, like, I don't know that people have recognized it. You mentioned 80 plus cars or whatever. We have decided that we do not want the air of exclusivity to leave what we do, and we're actually going to reduce our car count. We are going to have a maximum of 64 entries. We are not going to take any more than that ever. We're going to hard cap it at 64 because we just feel like we're getting too many cars. And as we aspire to get on broadcast television and do more things, we're working on a reality show, and a lot of the things that we're trying to do, when you can't spread your energy across that many teams. Like, you got to focus it down a little bit. And we're also going to do away with testing. In 2027 at the World Series of Pro Mod, we will not have days and days and days of pre-race testing. I'm just curious, like, are you excited at the notion of having less cars involved? And what do you think of no testing?
Well, 80 cars is a big field to go through. And if you're trying to put a TV program together, the time restraint from the first car to the 80th car is a very big window. Along with us as racers, you got to think of it like this: if it's early morning session, those first 10 pair have an advantage over the rest of the field, as the air obviously gets worse as the day goes on. And in the evening, the last 10 pair have a better chance of running bigger numbers to move up in the field. So I see where you're going with that. Testing, I'd like to see them less testing, just for the simple reason: if you're going to come to the biggest race in the world, you should have your shit together. You should be able to roll it off the trailer and let's go. And, you got to take a whole week off of work Monday, start test. And will it stop it? No, they may go to another racetrack and still test, but they're still not testing the same exact surface. So, I mean, these are top tier teams. I don't think not testing is going to hurt them one bit.
I don't either. And I honestly think, like, part of what we're trying to make a movie, right? Like, we want a great story. Like, what attracts fans is an incredible story. And I think that whenever you allow a team to come in and get 6, 8, 10, 12 shots at the track, I mean, as much as we have loved talking about how close the competition was at World Series of Pro Mod, I think we had 32 cars spread across 0.04 of a second. That's incredible, but that's a product of 3-4 days of practice.
Yes.
I mean, that's really what it is. When you give guys a chance, that many shots at the track, it's going to be tough. But whenever you make everybody roll off the trailer and see who's who, it's going to open that thing up a little bit. And it's probably going to create an opportunity for a lesser known or someone, that doesn't have the ability to be there all week long, because we have plenty of teams. If we let them test for a week, they'll test for a week. Yes. Right. And now Pro Mod, in my opinion, is this is a polarizing statement, but I stand by it. It is the highest level of grassroots drag racing. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of pro level teams, the elite motorsports, the pro line camps, but by and large, these are guys that are driving their own rigs, working on their own stuff. I mean, these guys are taking time off from their business, from their shop, whatever they do. And they are going racing. And I think it's an unrealistic ask to continually ask people, this group of racers, to take a week off, to take 10 days off, to shut down operations or turn their attention elsewhere for a week at a time. Like, Pro Mod to me is like the ultimate entrepreneur drag racing category, right? Most of these men and women are self-made, right? And they do this as a hobby. It's definitely a very serious hobby. It's definitely a very professional level hobby, but it's no doubt a hobby, right? So I think that for me, by removing that testing, we're swinging the door open for an underdog story, and we're leveling the playing field, right? There's only so much we can do with the rules. The cream is always going to rise to the top. The best racers are going to be the best racers. But I do think that by removing that, you're going to give somebody that maybe doesn't have as many runs or whatever the opportunity to come out and get it done when they have to get it done. And that's what we want to do.
For sure. And I think the racing's still going to be good, because you still got the best of the best people there. I mean, yeah, did we come sometimes to some of those races with some stuff we're trying for the later in the year? Sure. And test it for those 2 or 3 days to get a baseline. And does those 6 or 8 runs help? Sure. It can hurt. every run that somebody else makes and you don't, you're already behind a run if you don't have your shit together. So I personally would like to, just go straight into qualifying and let's go and see who has their shit together and who don't.
Make it matter, brother. Well, Steve, we're super excited for you. Can't wait to have you a part of this tradition that we are continuing this spring, March 5th, 6th, and 7th, 2027 at the legendary Texas Motorplex, brother. Appreciate you as always. Good luck this weekend. Tell Jess hi, and we'll talk to you soon.
We will, buddy. Pack the house and don't forget to vote. Throw that vote out there for us, baby.
You got it, baby. We're going to post the link, and we got a story coming up today. Appreciate you,
All right,
boys.
man. Thank you,
sir. Hey guys, I want to take a quick second and remind you that each and every episode of the Wes Buck Show is made possible by way of our friends at Redline Synthetic Oil. Formulated to win, proven by you since 1979, Redline has had you covered. From 11,000 horsepower nitro engines to class-style applications in all forms of high performance and racing, their lineup spans everything from a 5-weight race oil all the way up to their 70-weight nitro oil, and the best in the business know it. Ty Tutterow, Steve Torrance, Callie Mills, Spencer Hyde, Scott Palmer, Tommy Franklin, champions and contenders who trust Redline to get it done. Check out their full product lineup at redlineoil.com. When you know, you know. Guys, our next guest, can't wait to have this conversation. Always one of our favorites to talk to, and he is on a hell of a roll in 2026. I'll get the official count from him, but by our count, 8 wins, 10 final round appearances, including this past weekend at the NHRA Brainerd Nationals with a 004 light in the final against Sean Murder Nova Ellington. Let's give it up for our friend Scott Taylor. What's up, buddy?
Man, just happy to be here. Thank you for having us on. And I'm like Steve there. It's always awesome coming on your show. It's just a special feeling for sure. You've done a phenomenal job promoting drag racing as a whole.
Oh, well, thank you, Scott. It means a lot coming from you, man. And I got to give it to you. I think you've done an incredible job as an ambassador for our sport. And that was one of the things that Mike and I hope Mike pops back on here, because there is like a conversation to be had just about your experience with engaging with the fans and what all you guys have done and the lessons that you've learned through your time on Street Outlaws and No Prep Kings. But let's first talk immediately about this past weekend. You know, the NHRA introduced this program over the off season. I don't think it's any secret that as No Prep Kings was kind of going into, kind of going away. I don't say that begrudgingly or anything like that. I know that we are very proud of what No Prep Kings and Street Outlaws represented to the sport of drag racing. I know that that's kind of something that a lot of people have a lot of different opinions on, but we feel strongly that yourself, that whole cast of characters did an immeasurable service for the sport of drag racing as a whole. And I'm glad that you guys found a landing place with the NHRA Outlaw Street program presented by Wright Trailers, who I know you've worked with closely for years and years and years. That's one of the ways that I got familiar with Michael and the whole team at Wright Trailers. But I'm just curious, man, going back to PRI, like how exciting for you was it just to see this type of racing be able to continue to be part of NHRA national events? And I think for the economy of drag racing, not to see these steel roof and quarter cars not have a place to go race.
So as we sort of saw the writing on the wall, with Discovery having trouble, our show had great ratings, and then we got dropped even though we had great ratings. So the writing was on the wall that we needed to find a home before this deal came to an end. And so I got with Michael Scott, and we went out to a race. I think it was in Indy. It was in Charlotte. I'm sorry. We went to Charlotte, and we got to talking, and I said, man, I think this would be a great place for us to find a home. And he said, well, let me put it together. So he knows a lot of people with an HRA, and he sat down and talked with them. They were very receptive. It rocked on about a year or so, going back and forth. And at PRI, we walked by them, we talked to them. It was fresh on our mind. And I'm not kidding. A 2-year deal happened in about 30 minutes at PRI. So, and when we stepped up on that NHRA stage, it's sort of like I feel when I come on your show. It's just that good feeling. I turned around and looked back at the 75th anniversary. 75 is one of my favorite numbers, and I was like, man, this is the year things are going to happen for us. And from there, it has just got better and better every single race. It's beyond exciting for us.
I mean, to be able to race on that stage, I think is, I mean, for most every drag racer, and obviously, I mean, you're from that street warrior, outlaw racer kind of part of the community, but it's like, let's be honest, if you win the lottery and you can choose where you're going to go race or what you're going to go do, you're going to go run NHRA, right? Like, it's just,
absolutely,
that's our sports NFL. So to see you guys get the opportunity to be a part of that, especially knowing the lore, like the lore of the drama between Street Outlaws and No Prep Kings is like legit, right? I mean, I think we all remember the letter, right? The
letter,
infamous letter.
It's funny
that,
how
far we've come, man. I mean, but we're not that far removed from that. Like within a decade, they're sending everybody certified letters saying don't put a car number on your car, you know, with your NHRA competition license holder license number, because we're not condoning this. And now here we are, you know, like I said, 10 years later, and they have, you know, swung the doors wide open for the Street Outlaw stars to come be a part of this. And I think it's a great coming together moment. Like here at Drag Illustrated, we've always had a mission statement that's, you know, to grow and build the sport of drag racing by celebrating the men and women who do it. But we've also like wanted to be a galvanizing force, right? Like we wanted to bring this community together. I know it sounds cliche and corny, but we can accomplish a lot more if we behave as one, right?
Absolutely.
Like than we can in this fragmented fashion that we have for the last 100 years, right? Where everybody kind of cares only about the cars that are pitted next to them or the cars and racers that are in the staging lanes with them. And our song and dance is, if you've rolled through the water, done a burnout and taken the tree, you're my kind of guy or gal, right? I don't care if it's in a junior dragster, a fuel altered, or somewhere in between. We appreciate what you're doing and we don't want to do it without you. So I think the NHRA welcoming you guys in the way that they have, I hope it's kind of been an example type of moment, like leading by example, like, hey man, what's past is past. Let's bring this group together and celebrate these guys. And it feels like, I mean, what's the reception been like from, you know, these are kind of the tried and true drag racing fans. I mean, have you guys been like pleasantly surprised?
Absolutely. We've been welcomed with open arms, and all of our signings have went well. And the fans, when we come back up Return Road, it has been a special feeling that honestly, I didn't really know that I would miss. But I tell you, once I heard everybody yelling and screaming when we were headed back up the Return Road at Brainerd, I missed that feeling. And I tell you, winning a drag race in front of that many people and holding up that Wally is I don't care if any. I've won much bigger purses, but that is the most special trophy I have, and it's just a special weekend. I want to dive back just one second. NHRA, you know, they did send out those letters and they did do those things, but they're not quite as bad as what it seemed back then. So a year or so after that deal, they started reaching out, and NHRA was fairly involved with our safety the last couple of years of NPK. So I think back then they realized they would rather us be safer and work together. And then that started building this relationship where it ended up. So they wasn't quite as bad as what, you know, Street Outlaw fans think that NHRA is just absolutely terrible. Not necessarily the case. They righted a wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they've given you guys a lot of support with this. And at Charlotte, you guys were there, ton of fans. You guys were like right there on the midway up front. And it seems like, you know, they're really, when you guys are running these events, they're really showcasing you. And I think Wes could probably speak to this too, that there has been more of that outreach and more of that working together and cooperation with NHRA. And I think we're going to continue to see more of that. And I feel like we've talked about it a couple of times in the wake of the IHRA situation. I think you see all the kind of remaining sanctions and organizations sort of reaching out and going, all right, let's work together to continue to strengthen the sport instead of divide it. So it's really been cool to see that. But back to what you were talking about the fans and the reception, it really is a stark contrast to me between the typical, or, you know, the majority of your Street Outlaws fans that were mainstream, followed the TV show, and now you're in front of a hardcore drag racing audience. And a funny comment even popped up on our social media, I believe, on the post we made yesterday, where someone said something like, if he was guessing on that 004, if he would stop guessing, he would never win a race. The only way he wins a race is guessing the light. And we got someone talking about the big controversy that happened on the show about guessing the light, and they think that that's still applying to what you're doing here on the NHRA. And so it just kind of reminded me that we are speaking to two different audiences, and you guys are kind of bringing over that fan that followed that at least close enough to understand that controversy on the show. And now he sees you cutting a 004 light on an NHRA national event, and he thinks you're guessing the light. So what has that been like? Or like, addressing that with your fans and kind of bringing them over to this NHRA side with you?
So as a driver, you go 004 and somebody tells you you're guessing or you're lucky or it's the only reason you won, it's sort of frustrating, to be honest. But at the end of the day, as a, putting this deal together, me wanting it to work, what I see as a fan that came from, Street Outlaws and is moving over to NHRA now. So I try to treat every comment with kindness and try to be more informational and try to let them get some knowledge off of it and try to teach them what a pro tree is and things like that. Some are receptive to it and some will just argue with you. So if they argue, I just keep moving on. But I said just a simple Google review, can you guess a pro tree, will get you that answer you need. So, but it's a huge sign that they are moving over with us to the NHRA.
And I think that has to be, I mean, I know that's the way we saw it when we, started our outreach, efforts to the cast of the No Prep Kings, is it's like, hey, we can only benefit by having Scott Taylor involved, by having Robin Roberts involved, by having Sean Ellington involved, by having Ryan Martin involved. Like I remember, Lizzie Musey, we brought Lizzie Musey and Jeff Lutz into the 2025 World Series of Pro Mod to run their No Prep Kings cars in a match race because we recognized that they're needle movers. And I mean, we literally could track thousands of tickets that were sold to Lizzie Musey's social media. Like that's the type of following that she has. And I think that's the NHRA is wise to try to embrace this audience, because I think there's a lot of people that watch Street Outlaws or No Prep Kings that probably didn't even know Top Fuel drag racing was a thing. Couldn't point a pro stock car out of a parking lot, right? But you're bringing some of those fresh eyeballs. Mike and I went to the MPK race you were at a couple of years ago at the Texas Motorplex. And I remember being shocked. Like I was at the Motorplex a couple of weeks prior for the NHRA national event, right? And the place is packed out, no doubt about it. So, pandemonium. But I come back 2-3 weeks later, whatever it was, for the No Prep Kings event, and it was slam packed again. And I don't know that I saw a single same person. It was a completely different crowd. And just imagine if we were able to marry those audiences. Like that's when the magic happens, when we start to bring these worlds together.
It's really insane, just the difference between, say, me, Ryan, Sean, and let's say Bobby. Our people are different people. Like we have people. So I made a post today, like my people are bashing his people are bashing me. I'm like, guys, look, it takes a lot of effort to get there. So don't bash the other team. Just be
I saw that. I was wondering what that was about. Were people bashing on?
Just both ways. My people are bashing his people are bashing mine. I mean, it's not nothing major. It's frustrating to see whether I win or lose. I mean, I want them to be happy for the person that won. I mean, so I guess. Is some of that good though?
Yeah,
some of that
good.
It is. So I have an issue with that. The bad just drives me insane, but you can't have anything great. So Sam Corcus was Street Outlaws told me, he said, you'll never make it without fans and haters. So he is 100% correct. We owe a ton to Sam. I mean, we wouldn't be where we was at without him, But the reason I was saying all that is just we have different people, even between the racers, it's different people.
Oh, there's no doubt about it, man. I mean, and I think it's good to bring up Sam. I talk to Sam fairly frequently, and he's what he did and his ability to tell a story and create a narrative. It is honestly something that our sport could benefit from. Mike and I spent the first half hour of the show talking about how do we get more people to be fans of this? Like, how do we, get more eyeballs on what we're doing? Because I mean, I say
be fans. That's what such a huge difference between the hardcore audience of NHRA, for example, and your fans that you were just describing, they are not afraid. I mean, they are proud to be a fan of yours or of Murder Nova or whatever. And we miss some of that in the other aspects of drag racing.
Yeah. As we're signing autographs, you'll see a Murder Nova hat come down, or a STM hat, or a Fireball hat. And they're always like, I'm sorry, it's not your hat. I'm like, look, if you buy a hat from any one of us, that's like supporting our whole group. And so I'm a fan of anybody that's a fan of anybody in our group. So
100%, man. Tell me about getting Bobby Ducati involved. Like, it was so cool to see Bobby out there. Obviously, that car is beautiful. So just how did this, like, do you feel like we're going to see some more of that? Like Nate Saylor back in the mix, like this, I was feeling like I was a little concerned because a lot of those steel roof and quarter cars that were purpose built for NPK style competition, I was going like, where are these things going to end up? And it was concerning me because I know those are not cheap builds. You're talking about $400,000+ race cars. And I'm going, man, we don't want these things to be sitting on Projack somewhere or get sold into, a niche deal. We don't want these. I mean, I just hate that for the economy of drag racing. So do you feel like we're going to see more of that?
I do. So that's sort of a two-part question. On the do I think we'll see more part, as yes, we're trying to grow that class. They sort of set us at a max of 10 cars right now. Bobby was a bit of a fill-in here. It was a trial deal to see if he liked it, see if we liked it. He was one of the ones that was sort of stuck on the issue between NHRA and Street Outlaws. And he's finally, I explained to him how nice they've been, how receptive they've been. He sort of put it behind him. But he was a fill-in, but there's probably 20+ race teams that have reached out wanting to get involved with this program already. So I think next year is going to be the elite of the elite. I think we're looking possibly doing a 16-car field next year instead of the 8-car field. And that's still speculation. We're still talking about it. We got a lot of work, and we'll be, coming out with that at PRI, some big info for next year.
It's exciting, man.
Yep. For as far as Bobby, he was like I say, last minute fill in. Randy Williams with GCAP, Garden City Ammonia Program. He donated this car to our program and basically let me pick out whatever driver I wanted to put in this thing. And so I'm managing the car, going to tune the car. I'm actually going to put one of my engines in the car this week. He had a little bit more of an old school engine that didn't have quite the power. So for it to go out and run with it man, we were ecstatic. The chassis had to be set up from square one. It hadn't been raced in forever. And then the tune-ups were basically backed out of the ECU. It had nothing in it. So we were from scratch. No dyno time, no nothing, straight to the racetrack. Wow. And he didn't run that far behind me, when we raced. But he loved it. And I think he's going to be part of the program from here on out.
Dude, I'm glad to hear that. Tell me a little bit about one of the things that I've been impressed by, especially with you in this gold Camaro. That thing's been on 2810.5s. It's been on radials. It's been on big tires. How do you so confidently move that thing from, because that's something that most racers are afraid to do, right? Like when they find their way with the weight percentages and the tune-up and everything in this configuration and this shock setup, right? We're not changing it. How have you managed to do that so fluidly and do, like, I mean, there's a comment here. Josh Jones is saying Lil Goldie is special, but is that really what, I mean, because you got to admit it's pretty special.
Lil Goldie is special. So I built that as a tribute car to my dad. He raced a car called Little Goldie back in the day. And his picture's riding right there on the dash from race number 1. But the car is special, but we make a lot of notes to switch back and forth. I think that's probably, I enjoy the tuning side and the suspension side almost as much as driving. When we won that last race, I looked at the time slip and it sped up in every section, and I was ecstatic. And then I'm like, well, the tuner did good, because I'm tuning this thing. And then I look over and I looked at the reaction time. I was like, well, the driver didn't do bad.
Pat yourself on both sides of your back there.
Absolutely. And what's bad is when you start thinking about the tuning when you're staging, then you gotta just let that go.
Well, and you think about like the level of competition. I mean, to me, this is a great reminder. Kenny Nolling 100 years ago reminded me that it only takes 2 cars to have a drag race. So like all these guys that want to measure everything by car count and participation, that's great. And don't get me wrong, it's a badge of honor in its own right. But like, if you look at the semifinals, I mean, Sean Ellington, Ryan, you guys were all in the bottom 70s. Like to have those cars that close together. I mean, you went 71 with a 7 and Ryan Martin went 71 with a 7. You know what I'm saying? You look at the first round, 73 beats a 70. I mean, the racing is really, really good. How has it been like a point of pride for you? Because I want to go back to the suspension thing, but is it good for the fans to see how fast these cars really are? Like, does this help?
So I was going to say that earlier. I think that's how a lot of this respect has come along too, for these fans to be able to see what these cars are running.
So a World Series of Pro Mod is where it all started for us. It's the first time we really lit the boards with any Street Outlaws driving. I think people said, hey, they made the field, the toughest pro mods in the world. They're not so slow after all. Because really a lot of people think, reality show, they're just sort of faking it, but man, we were racers that they filmed a reality show while we were racing, So we were not actors. I mean, we didn't have cue cards. We didn't have anything, man. We were just racing. So, but yes, showing the times, people seeing these steel roof and quarter cars running, we were running 360s and we actually voted to take the nitrous away because, it really needs to be in the 370 range for these cars. But we'll still slip back in the upper 60s as soon as the air gets good. But that's plenty fast enough. We don't need dual power adders. So.
I agree with that. I felt like that dual power adder thing, part of me was like really impressed and amazed at how well these blower deals seemed like nitrous. Right, like
they love it.
Yeah, I mean, were you surprised? Like,
Pro Charger and nitrous is like peanut butter and jelly for a fat boy.
I mean, I was shocked, man. I mean, like, guys were telling me what they were able to get away with, what they were doing, and I'm like, holy moly! Like, maybe that's the next evolution of nitrous, right? Because we talk all the time about pro nitrous and nitrous pro mods, like what's going to happen? What do we do to keep these things competitive? How do we keep these companies, in the limelight and involved at a high level?
Well, look at the rise of, extreme pro mod or outlaw pro mod. Now we've seen a resurgence in that NHRA and other series just based off that alone. I mean, just basically nitrous and pro charger and seeing what that can do. So yeah, I think that's got a little life to it. I think we're going to see some of that start to crop up in other areas as well. But yeah, I'm with you guys. You're out there to put on a show, and you're putting on enough of a show. You don't need to go out there pushing the envelope, tearing stuff up, not making the next round, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and just pushing guys out, right? Like that can't run that good. That's what concerned me.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough on parts too. Going back to the suspension deal, it's tons of notes to make that deal happen. And it's an awesome feeling when you swap it from small tires to these big old steamrollers and come off the trailer and go right down the racetrack. It's crazy. And then when you're running a little bit slower on small tires, then you let go of the button in the same car. Next thing you got a 920 60 foot. It'll wake you up too, because when you just made a pass at 110 60 foot.
Oh, I bet, man. I mean, to me, I think it's a great thing, and seeing those cars back in action, and especially all those names, like I don't know that any of us ever thought we'd see a day where Ryan Martin and Scott Taylor and Sean Ellington and all these guys were showing up at NHRA drag races. This is a great moment for our sport, and I'm glad to hear that it's going well and the NHRA is receptive to it. I think this bodes well for the future of this class and keeping you guys involved, hopefully not just for a couple of years, but for a long haul here. Because are you guys seeing what you need to see from the race team side, like as far as fan interaction, merch sales, etc.? Like, are you having the opportunity there that you need to be able to keep doing this?
Absolutely. All the signs are there that we needed to see. I believe NHRA feels the same way, and they're starting to lean into it. The first race, they were nice, but they didn't really lean into it. Second race come around, they saw the numbers from the first race. Second race come around, they're leaning into it, and I've been told they're going to lean into it even more on the third race. So everything is showing go, let it grow, and not just because it's a class we put together, but I feel like this might be the fastest growing class I've ever seen in NHRA.
It's exciting, man. We couldn't be happier for you guys. And so, I mean, what's next for Scott Taylor?
Next weekend we'll be in Indy, and then we have the Texas race, and then after that we'll take this thing off these steamrollers and think we're going to either do some 33-10-5 racing or maybe some radial racing. But I think a 33-10-5 is the only tire I haven't put Goldie on, and I want to see if I can set the world record on that tire.
Well, I tell you what, man, I wouldn't bet against
Might
it,
as well.
brother. I wouldn't bet against it, dude.
I appreciate it.
What about some pro mod racing? Anything in store for the pro mod?
Definitely. We have a huge reveal on the pro mod deal coming up very soon. I can't talk about it too much just yet, but we were getting out of pro mod racing, and a deal fell in our lap really from an old friend. So we're going back pro mod racing.
I'm excited, man, because there's a certain race next spring that I think that you're going to need to be in the field for.
Absolutely. No, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully I can get an invite to it.
I'll call some folks. I know a couple guys that know a couple guys, man.
That's
well,
right.
Scott, dude, congratulations, man. We couldn't be happier for you. We really appreciate you giving us some time. Sorry we were running a little bit behind, but we look forward to seeing you at Indy. Let's go for dinner or something. All right. I'll see you in a few days.
Absolutely. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And thank y'all for having us on. And if you don't mind, just quick shout out to Wright Trailers. Man, those guys have done, Michael Scott has been over backwards to make this deal work with NHRA. And thank you to NHRA for being so receptive to our group and letting this be a dream come true for us. Quick Performance, presenting sponsor. Couldn't do it without them. Obviously, Pro Charger, Raven, and Walt, those guys are absolutely amazing to deal with. And Iski Cams, those guys made this whole series possible. And like I say, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, we appreciate you, brother. And a huge shout out to all those guys. I was actually just talking with Raven yesterday, and it's like we're lucky to have some guys that care so much about our sport and keeping this stuff going. Michael Scott, I've only recently gotten to know Michael, but that dude puts his money where his mouth is, man. Like seeing what he's done for Top Sportsman, seeing what he's done for a multitude of different types of drag racing, helping out racers. He's doing a great thing in our space, man. There's no doubt about it.
He definitely stepped up to the plate on this deal and made it happen. We were able to pick up these sponsors and he covered the rest of the bag. So I definitely appreciate him making that happen.
And did you see this thing too, real quick before I let you go? I just got this email this morning. Let me pull up my email, 2 seconds. I'm getting off topic here. Apparently they're doing a documentary on Ed Iskadarian.
I have not seen that yet, but I heard they were talking about it. So that would be awesome. So he's got a book, and Ed was an amazing person. I have a picture of him hanging in my office in here. Every time I saw him, he couldn't get around that well, but his brain was 110% still there.
Yeah, I just got an email this morning. Hello, Drag Illustrated team. I wanted to flag a documentary premiering on October 2nd that I think will resonate with your readers. Iski, directed by Cheyenne Kane. The film tells the story of Ed Iskadarian, the camshaft pioneer known throughout motorsports as the Cam Father. It traces his path from a curious young machinist to the founder of Iski Racing Cams and digs into the technical and business decisions that shaped decades of drag racing and NASCAR performance. Built from rare archival footage and firsthand interviews, it is a firsthand look at a century of hot rod history through the eyes of one of its central figures. So anyways, I didn't know that was even in the works, but I'm excited about it. And Mike, just so you know, she offered this lady if we want to see it ahead of time, and I love special treatment. Anybody that knows me knows I love.
Y'all give me a call. I'll watch with you.
Okay, I'll FaceTime you, dog, and we'll watch it together.
No,
he's an absolute legend, man.
Iski and Nolan, the whole group over, at Iski has been fantastic to work with. They've been riding with me for about 6 or 7 years now, and every year they're always there for us.
Has Nolan ever given you those wasabi peanut things?
No.
Okay, ask him about the peanut things. He introduced me to these in like 2022, and it's I don't know where he gets them or whatever, but like they're these cylindrical bags of these coated wasabi peanuts, and they are literally the best snack ever. He got Alex Taylor hooked on them. Alex let me try some on Sick Week a few years ago, and now I literally order them off Amazon. So, anyways,
we traveled to Hawaii together. Me and him went on a family vacation together. Me and my wife, and him and his wife, and we got hooked on those Hawaiian chocolate covered nuts over there. So
I'm trying to find them. Heather Taylor's in the comments. She probably knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
she probably does.
Sounds good. I might need to order a bag.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to find it back. They're badass, and I normally don't like spicy stuff. But
we have a gentleman that flies into a few races from Hawaii, and he always brings us a bag full of them. So
It's awesome, right? Aren't those
Yeah,
the
for
best
sure.
things, right? Like whenever I go and see Paulo Juiced, he always brings me Canadian maple syrup.
Oh no,
And
that's
it's like
good
it's
stuff
little
too. If you've had
silly
that,
things
it
like
makes you
is.
not ever want to have the other stuff that you buy in the store.
It
'Cause
is.
that's
It's
like,
always
once
it's
you
always
have
better
that-
from somewhere else.
Oh yeah.
it's so true, man. Scott, stay out of trouble, brother. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, buddy.
See you, buddy.
Mike, man, we covered a lot of ground today. Video
did, man.
games, fanfare.
We got a lot. We got a
peanuts.
lot out. I felt like we, had the space to breathe and get some real personal details out. Hope you find your cat too.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I think the ship has sailed on the cat.
Oh,
I
no.
actually I gave the green light earlier today on getting a new cat. So I think that's the only
Then what
way.
if your old
so
cat comes back and then you have like a cat battle?
It would be like a territorial thing. I don't know.
Mhm.
It'd probably be bad. Clover's kind of mafioso a little bit.
know.
He's an old school cat, so he would probably off
He
whatever
defends
new
his
cat came
territory. I spent the
Yeah.
night at your house one time and he was not having me be in that room.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. That's his bedroom.
Yeah,
Our
I know. He
spare
was like,
room.
what the hell is this guy doing?
Saturn Sky 2007. I'm not sure if you answered this because I was late, but are they going to continue this series next year? Yes, it sounds like. I mean, I know for sure the series is continuing. Saturn Sky. They did a 2-year deal, is what I meant to say. So the series is going to be there for 2 years. I think the big question right now is whether they expand from an 8-car field and 10-car invitational to a 16-car field and whatever level of invitational they feel that would require. So, hopeful that happens.
Do you have any info on Scott's pro mod announcement? You
Zero.
seem like you knew about it. Okay.
Zero.
When he said it, it seemed like you might know already what's going on.
No, I actually have no idea.
But that sounds
But,
exciting.
Stan Waxberg, we can do some Q&A. Is NHRA TV moving to Flow next year? I don't know. I don't know, Stan. Appreciate it. There are some talks about some major changes with NHRA.TV, so I don't know. But hopefully
The whole NHRA broadcast package as a whole. It's the three-headed monster.
Yeah, dude, they got all sorts of stuff going on. There's a big article on Sports Business Journal, one of my all-time favorite websites, Sports Business Journal. Let me type it in. NHRA. Hold on.
A lot of this stuff gets
Yeah.
announced at Indy. I wouldn't be surprised to see some stuff drop. Don't they drop the schedule at Indy usually also?
The bulk of it.
The full,
the bulk
full
of it.
schedule.
Yeah.
So expect some stuff to be coming out here.
So yeah, this
Indy
article
week is always huge for announcements, like starting like literally Monday.
Yeah, NHRA is in advanced stages of negotiating its next domestic media rights agreement, and Fox Sports, the CW, and Flow Sports are among those in the mix, according to people familiar with the matter. That's the same insight that I have. I know that I've been hearing about the CW being involved with NHRA for like 4 or 5 years now. Yeah, I mean, it's been a hot minute. So hopefully that does happen. I think that's good for the brand. I honestly think Fox has done a really good job with the NHRA broadcast, like all these NASCAR lead-ins and NFL lead-ins. Like it feels like they've done a really good job of trying to introduce people to drag racing. So I've been appreciative of it. I think they've done a great job with the coverage. It's on. It's not constantly getting preempted by other sports. So anyways, I think it's good news. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
but,
within the parameters of what they've got to work with, basically. And so kind of always fighting that uphill battle with drag racing until we get that big TV rights deal and it flips the whole economy of at least NHRA pro racing. Then I think what you're seeing right now is as good as you can ask for.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, someone else had a question on here. Oh, Ohio Racing Media says excited for the live show at Indy. So are we. We're preparing for this and getting stuff put together, trying to have like an actual well-produced show, multiple cameras, audio, some signage, the whole deal, and maybe a surprise or two. Some big stuff is happening recently. At least tune in for that, if nothing else.
Yeah, dude. I think we're gonna have at least one big unveil on the show next Friday. We'll be
bigger than expected.
Bigger than expected. Yeah, like figuratively and literally. Great question from Factory Wolf Racing. If Maple Grove ever returns to the NHRA schedule, does a current event get dropped? It's a great question, and I honestly, I think that's going to be a really tough battle, to be honest, because I feel like, so the NHRA has done something that I don't think they get enough credit for, is when they made the announcement that they were going to introduce events at South Georgia Motorsports Park, Rockingham Dragway, US 131 in Martin, Michigan. Those facilities all required some investments and upgrades, and US 131 added a bunch of paved pitting. South Georgia Motorsports Park made all sorts of facility upgrades. The same can be said with Rockingham Dragway. So I can't imagine any of those investments, just putting my business owner hat on, I can't imagine any of those investments were made in a short-term kind of thinking.
There has to
be
some kind of commitment for a number of years. I would think it would be 3 to 5, something like that.
Yeah, I would be surprised if it was less than 3 to 5, Mike, right? I mean, I know that's what I would want. So I would say that we would be more looking at a schedule expansion. And to be honest, I think that Maple Grove market is wildly important to the whole Northeast. Like, you've got New Hampshire, you've got Epping, which kind of caters to your Boston market, but getting that New York media market, Maple Grove was about as good as it gets, So I think for the NHRA, I think that they would be more apt to add a race to the schedule and bring Maple Grove back. And I will say that, like, that's if I am placing bets right now, I would bet on an additional race in Maple Grove returning to the schedule in 27. That would be my guess. I think that Rockingham is obviously you've got Charlotte 70 miles away, so there's a touch of duplicity there market wise, but I think it's enough different. The venues are enough different. I think that that's a little bit of an opportunity.
Yeah. It could be more different. I mean, I know they're doing a ton of stuff at Rockingham, but you've been to both, and I know a lot of people have, and especially in this area, and they cater to a really different area and a whole different crowd. It's going to be exciting to see NHRA rolling there with the big show.
Oh, bro, it's going to be, if there is a race on the NHRA schedule to circle in 2026, it is Rockingham. Like, that joint is going to be jumping, bro. Like, I cannot wait for that event. But I am.
Are there any, let's just bookend that.
Yeah.
Are there any rumors or anything we're hearing of a track dropping for next year that could get replaced by Maple Grove and keep the schedule at the, same number?
For fear of having a track owner call and kill me. I don't know that I'll say it out loud, but to be honest, there are some tracks that I think, like, there's at least one, maybe two that I think are on relatively short leashes, I would say safely. You know what I mean? I think that there are,
we're going to say,
well, no? I mean, let's be honest. I think Chicago is a facility that I think we point directly at Peak Antifreeze, and our dear friend here at Drag Illustrated, Brian Bolander, and his team at Peak Old World Industries. They were the really driving force behind bringing that track back to the NHRA Tour. It does perform well. I think they get a pretty good crowd. It's not one of our celebrated sellouts, but it is well represented. But that's not a track that operates year round, right? So I think if push came to shove, and then I do also think that there are some tracks that have been, think about Phoenix. Like, I love Phoenix, Firebird Motorsports Park, badass place, but it has been amidst sale, urban sprawl issues in the past. What I mean? That place actually got sold, I think, a while back, and was going to be developed into something other than a racing property. And then, it came back.
What about, we saw some stuff about Seattle, about their, looking at some, creative options for funding or for ways to make generate revenue with the facility. Didn't we hear some stuff about Sonoma also? I know the race was really well attended and looked really good, but I think we had heard some stuff about Sonoma.
Yeah, I think pretty much all that stuff, like, there on the West Coast, like, I think you gotta hold your breath on almost all that stuff.
I know, right? It
seems
like we hear that a lot every year. It's something out
well,
there,
and I got to be honest, like, have you seen, even Cletus McFarland is getting very vocal about trying to preserve Bradenton Motorsports Park, right? Like, this is something that we recognized early on, that we felt like, man, there is a reality here that there may be an expiration date, right? I mean, the city of Bradenton, that whole Bradenton, Sarasota area is exploding. Every time you open your eyes, there's another building, there's another apartment complex, there's another community or housing development coming together. And I mean, it would appear that Cletus is getting loud about
that's
preserving
a different problem, though, right?
Yeah,
than
but I'm
what
just
we're talking
saying
about.
that
it's
is
the opposite problem.
Yeah,
It's the land and area is becoming too valuable and needs to be could be sold as developed as something else, which takes us down that rabbit hole of what's going to happen with all the IHRA tracks.
I do believe we're
in limbo.
Some news, just so we have an inside line on a seismic happening regarding these tracks, and we are not. I don't have a Saturn Sky or somebody talked about one thing that we do really pride ourselves on here at Drag Illustrated is reporting things with sources. So until I have sources that are willing to go on the record, I'm not going to report it. But I'm very close to that, and I think it should give us at least a little bit of insight as to what happens next with some of these places. I will tell you that I've reached out directly to the Koretsky family. There are legal things that have to be sorted out before I'm able to, before I'm able to report anything official. But as soon as we know something, we'll make sure all of y'all know what's going on. I do love this. Brian Whitworth. Let me read. We still got a good Brian Whitworth. He sent me a text yesterday, and I wanted to give him some love. Just so this week, sweepstakes for a turnkey 1,300 horsepower, $200,000 dragster. Deadline to enter, I believe, is next Monday. Ultratech Race Fab built a dragster. Absolutely cool promotion where it's very similar to a drag racing version of Publishers Clearinghouse, right? Sign up, enter to win, get a chance to go home with a grand prize sweepstakes of a 2026 turnkey Ultratech Race Fab dragster with an SD Scoggin Dickies Performance Center, 1,300 horsepower, 648 in it. Really, really cool. RaceDerbyCity.com. You can enter. Brian Whitworth, one of our longtime friends here at Drag Illustrated. So I wish them nothing but the best with their giveaway. But the reason I brought Brian's name up was he was commenting on YouTube that the Throwback Nationals, dude, Rockingham Dragway is. I wish we get to see that every year at Indy a little bit, right? Tom McEwen rap, the Old English car. Paul Lee is going to be running a Tom the Mongoose McEwen tribute car at the U.S. Nationals. I don't know if the resources are there yet or our drag racing economy is there yet, but it would be badass to see a dedicated especially as drunk as this community is on yesteryear and the glory days and nostalgia. I think it would be so cool to see the NHRA roll into one of these events with, a highly encouraged, if not mandatory, throwback theme weekend. I mean, I know a guy in the
I'll
vinyl
do a discount.
We should do that. Why don't we
run a bulk discount? Actually, I forget, had this conversation. Maybe it was over a few beers at PRI or something, but somebody pitched this to me, a year ago or something, like you should run some kind of special and partner with NHRA on a throwback race and make everybody run throwback wraps. So, dude, we will cut you a deal if that's going to be the case.
I think we should do that. I want Drag Illustrated wants to be involved. We're not paying anything. You can pay for it, but I will certainly promote the holy shit out of it. Okay. Because that would be mega dope. And then have a throwback weekend presented by Victory Vinyl. There's
no reason not to, man. In today's times, we should be doing this. And we're seeing some of these, like you talking about these cars, like Spencer Hyde came out with the Outlaw light funny car last weekend. There's going to be a lot of new cars debuting this week at Indy. I think that's a good thing. I know people are like, I don't recognize the car anymore because it has got a different sponsor every week. But I've become accustomed to that in NASCAR, and I think that's just the way it is now. I'd love to see guys rolling out different sponsors all the time.
I think that's the way motorsports is trending as a whole. I think that the price to play has gotten so high that it's unrealistic for one brand or one company to shoulder that burden. And that's I also think why it's so important. The Scott Taylor is a great example, right? It doesn't matter what Scott Taylor drives. It doesn't matter what Sean Ellington drives. It doesn't matter what Ryan Martin drives. They are who you're after, right? That's, to me, that's who you're trying Like, you want an ambassador for your brand. I tell this story. I haven't told it in a long time, but I remember Tony Schumacher told me a great story, and it was a fantastic example that we can all learn from. He had a meeting with No Fear, which was like the streetwear brand, right?
He told us this in Saudi Arabia.
2000s. Yes, we were in Saudi Arabia, and he told us this story. And Tony said, you know, we were so excited, and they were like super fired up. And he literally had a rendering done of a Top Fuel dragster with all the No Fear, you know, the little eyes or whatever, and the No Fear logo, and had a truck and trailer wrap design. And he walks into the boardroom, and he's so proud. He unveils, you know, this rendering, and thinking that they're all going to jump up and down and be excited. And they immediately go, yeah, we don't really sponsor machines. We sponsor athletes. Like, we have no interest in this. And it was like a shell-shocking moment for him, but it was a great example for all of us to realize that the paint jobs change, the cars change, but the drivers don't, right? I mean, they may age, right? They may change a haircut, they may grow a beard, they may shave it, whatever the case may be. But I think that that's what everybody here in this space should be aspiring to do, is to be that John Force character. To be, Bill Bader Jr. was actually quoted talking about he could have a display at the NHRA Norwalk Nationals, and he could have you know, Maddie Gordon's Top Fuel dragster, Carlisle Tools Top Fuel dragster over here, and he could have Maddie Gordon over here, and the crowd would gather around Maddie, right? Because she is a star, right? And I think that that's what we all have to recognize, is that the cars are a big part of what we do, but they are most assuredly supporting cast members. And our leads are who we need to promote. And those are the people that I think can drive anything, bounce around from class to class or car to car, and carry their sponsors and partners with them, because it doesn't matter what they're driving. It's an interesting thing, man.
Amen, brother.
Amen.
It's a good book into the show. Kind of
good book in. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yeah,
ending where we started, man. Remember, next weekend we will skip Wednesday and be live from the NHRA US Nationals at legendary Lucas Oil Raceway Park in Indianapolis. Friday from 2 p.m. Central Standard Time to 5 p.m. We've got a slew of superstar guests that are going to join us live on stage in the pits. If you're there, swing by and be a part of the madness. We intend to throw something of a party, and we look forward to seeing you there. Mike, Blake, all of y'all, thank you so much for being a part of this, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. See y'all next week.